Thank you. Welcome to Highly Questionable. I am Dan Batard. She tells me I yell everything. This is not my normal speaking voice. I'm doing the show very self-consciously. This is Sarah Spain. What do you like on the show today, Sarah?
I like talking in all caps when I'm on the show, too.
Dale,
Can't
papi.
stop yelling.
Dale, papi.
Go.
Can the Astros blame the game on Joe West?
What a spectacular baseball game played yesterday between the two best teams in the sport, and we're out here talking about an umpire who looks like a baked potato. Look at Cowboy Joe West here in the first inning. This is Jose Altuve, and this should be a home run, but maybe Mookie Betts catches that. Now you've got, on top of a great game, you've got controversy, and I do think it's worth asking this question, Sarah. These are very high stakes between the two best teams in baseball. Why do we still have a situation where fans can touch balls while they're in play or around play? It's a simple thing that's been in the sport for a long time, but if it happened in football or basketball, you'd go nuts. This isn't the way to decide games, not with the technology and not with the fans that close.
Well, the problem with technology is if a guy wearing a security jacket just leans in front of the one camera that has the angle you need to see whether he's still in play or in the crowd, then you can't figure it out. And that's where we are. And that's why you can't really blame Joe West, because it is interference if he's still in play. It's not interference if he's into the crowd. And when they sent it to the replay people in New York, they agreed with him. That's the problem here, is the angle is what we need. And if you look at this shot, there's a security guy right in front of that angle.
If I wanted to be made insane, the way that I would go about it is I'd be Jose Altuve in that situation. Hitting home runs is hard. He's grown up all his life being this big. He was getting his team back into the game after they'd allowed a couple of runs, and then you take the play away from him because of technology and an old guy who's roaming around the outfield.
I'll tell you what, I'm happy for both of those guys in the crowd that Joe West exists and is hated as much as he is, because we're all going to blame him and not them, and they won't have another Steve Bartman situation.
Well, you know who is one guy that is very happy today?
What's that?
Angel Hernandez. Because he's off the hook. He said, you see, you cannot blame me for that one now. You know, that was the game down the tube. I only called ball and strikes, you know, make a couple of bad calls at first base. But that was a lousy call. That's right. The Clayton Kershaw answered the experts could call him a choker.
His legacy is such a complicated one, because although my father is uncomplicating it here by natural reflex, because this is how people think of Clayton Kershaw, who's got an ERA 2 runs higher in the postseason, even with yesterday's start in clearly a big game, and now he's got 8 postseason starts where it's 1 run or fewer, 3 hits or fewer. 8 of those, no one else in the history of the sport has even 5, but he's either dominant or awful, and usually you need a guy who's that kind of great to be dominant more often.
Yeah, the way he plays in the regular season sets expectations so high that even though you know he's playing against teams that ostensibly have great offensive players, otherwise they wouldn't be in the postseason, which might explain why his ERA isn't as good. You see that compared to what you see all of the regular season, and you assume it's a choke job. But as Dan said, there's that stat, and then this is the 10th postseason start with 2 runs or fewer and 4 hits or fewer, tied for second best all time in the history of baseball, and yet we still make the choke symbol. That's just because we're jealous. We all wish we had a Kershaw.
No one heard anything we said this segment. No one heard a thing we said.
Well, there's a man dying next to us, which I guess is important to know.
Help me, I'm not kidding. Is Carmelo already dragging down the Rockets?
They get smoked last night by 20. Anthony Davis goes in there and just totally overwhelms them. The Rockets allowed 76 points in the paint. That is more than they allowed in any regulation game last season. That's not Carmelo's fault. That's Anthony Davis's greatness's fault. But when you look at the 131 they allowed and the defense, some of that can be put on Carmelo because it's more points than they allowed in the game all of last season. They've lost Trevor Ariza. They've lost their top 5 defense. Carmelo's not helping their defense, and their defense was what made them special last year, even as their offense was great.
Yeah, are you asking this because it's more of a lopsided loss than any they suffered all last year? Are you asking because it's the most regulation points they've ever allowed since Mike D'Antoni became a coach? Or just because we're going to pick on Carmelo Anthony? Because if it's all of those, then I 100% agree. It's not just Carmelo, though. It's clearly that they lost 2 of their best defenders and their defensive-minded coach, and so now they move on to a new era with poorer defenders and a guy who kind of sticks out no matter whether you're on offense or defense. So is this a referendum on the entire tenure with Carmelo Anthony? It's only 1 game, but I'm still going to say yes.
Excellent point there, Sarah. I'm glad you brought up Luke Richard and Baumute. This is all about the structural integrity of the Rockets defense. It's not any one player gone or any one player here. It's the idea that you chip away slowly but surely all the things that made you elite defensively. And make no mistake, that's why the Rockets were elite last year. It wasn't their offense. We knew that was always going to be great. It was because they were elite defensively.
I said that already.
Thanks for dressing up for the show, though. Real sharp.
This is nice.
Yeah,
This is a
yeah.
very rare piece here.
I know that. You got that for free when you float that airline. You know, you had a hell of a deal.
What do you expect from LeBron and the baby Lakers tonight?
Well, listen, I know it's not good television to say I haven't made up my mind yet, but that's just being honest, because here's the thing. You could add LeBron to almost any team in the NBA, and I would expect them to make the postseason and make a run at it. At the other hand, I'm looking at this Lakers squad full of washed-up weirdos and young guys, and a LeBron who played every game last year and is nearing the age where everybody else stops being as effective as they always were, and wondering how is he going to do it this time. I know he's going to, but I'm having trouble putting that down as my opinion, so I'm going to have to say I expect to be surprised. Either way.
Sarah, you're absolutely right. You are terrible at TV when you don't pick a side. Look, this is really easy. The washed-up weirdos you're referring to aren't going to play that much. If you look at the Lakers roster, their best players aren't guys like Lance Stevenson and Michael Beasley. No, they're guys like Josh Hart, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, and, of course, Lonzo Ball. And what's going to end up happening, and I'll say it right here, America, they're going to be tremendous. Because those guys are energized by LeBron's play. LeBron's never had a group of athletes this young, this long, this athletic. Probably not since his first couple of years in Miami.
Or since last year when they traded midway through the season for a bunch of guys that were younger and longer and more athletic, and they got worse.
But they came from a terrible team. The Lakers.
Oh, man, I'm looking forward to that opening game tonight. Are you kidding me? You got Michael Beasley, you got Rajon Rondo, you got Lance Stevenson, you got JaVale McGee. You know, that sounds like a championship team to me. Never mind LeBron and the other guys. Those are the four guys I'm going to be looking at carefully.
Bring. Hello? Oh, it's LeBron. It's LeBron, yeah. Oh, you want to talk to Papi?
Oh, I thought so.
Oh, that doesn't work, really. I wanted to get him
How much stock do you put in Katie's brother's Instagram comment?
I did not know that Katie had a brother named Tony until I learned of this story right here. We've got Katie after the win over OKC. And this is Tony Durant there saying, after that victory, yes, sir, brother, filling the hand up before we get out of here. Of course, anyone who sees that is going to have that reaction. What is a Durant family member doing co-signing this? But it is something that people are talking about all over the league. Where this guy ends up next is more interesting than what he does this season. And everyone's interested in it, and his brother just added flames to that particular fire.
Dan, the only reason why it's interesting is because who's going to win the championship? Not quite interesting enough a question to answer because we all know the Warriors are going to do it. But here's the thing. I really think Durant has a chance of leaving. You know, he accomplished what he wanted to do, which was add rings to his resume so that when it's all said and done and he gets his Hall of Fame acceptance speech, they won't say, but he didn't win the big one. The next step here is reviving a dying franchise, Dan. Are you ready for it?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Are you ready for it, Dan?
Oh, no.
What is it?
Start spreading.
No.
I can't sing it. I can't sing it.
We don't have copyright.
I didn't sing it.
Well, at least his brother uses his own account.
It's funny.
Coming up next on Highly Questionable.
He's going to try again to dunk on Jared Allen. How does this go?
Oh,
no. Let's check him out dunking. He is giant. And, yeah, he can dunk.
Standing.
He can dunk without leaving his feet.
When tracking the domestic dust bunny, you commonly find them hiding under wardrobes next to lost socks. Don't move too suddenly or they'll scurry off. What's utterly fascinating about the dust bunny is that although they are not actually sentient creatures, when they hear that Geico not only saves people money, but also has a 97% customer satisfaction rating, it's obvious to them you should switch. Because yes, switching to Geico is a no-brainer. Oh no, it's the dust bunny's only natural predator. Run along, dust bunnies, run along.
Time to play the game that feels misunderstood. Do you question?
You gave us topics and events. We question.
No reason for that pause there. None.
I think he forgot where he was.
Do you question if Blake Griffin will ever try this again?
Blake Griffin, maybe you don't know this, wants to try his hand at stand-up comedy. And the way that he does this is by going after Jared Allen in the preseason. Look at what happens here when he tries to dunk on this long 20-year-old kid from Texas.
Oh.
So that was the preseason. Did we get this last night? Blake Griffin's athleticism deteriorating somewhat with age and injury. Again, it happened. He's going to try again to dunk on Jared Allen. How does this go?
Oh,
no. Oh,
Just
no.
retire. I think that's the message.
Just retire?
Just
He's
retire.
29. Just retire.
Oh.
I think that we should give him a new name.
What's that?
Block Griffin.
That's
right.
It's not terrible. Block Griffin.
I kind of like it.
Wow, that happened fast. Blake was athletic a few years ago.
Do you question if these dunks were impressive?
Papi, who is your favorite non-Miami Heat basketball player?
Boban.
Oh, we get to check in with Boban. He's with the Clippers. Let's check him out dunking. He is giant. And, yeah, he can
still
dunk.
standing.
He can dunk without leaving his feet. I didn't even know that anyone could do that. He's not jumping. Oh, and this one, he actually bends the rim.
Well, that'll happen if you're still standing when you're dunking, right? I mean, are they impressive? Ask Blake Griffin. They went into the basket, so that's an upgrade from what he did.
I want to look at the ending of that again. Did you know a human being could do that? Just be standing there and grab the rim. I didn't know that was physically possible.
You know, I know somebody else that almost broke the rim yesterday.
You do?
Yeah. Melo with all those shots.
They also brought out a ladder because the rim was dented.
Do you question if Boogie Cousins is good with kids?
Is he good with kids? We go out to DeMarcus Cousins, who is not playing here for the Warriors. He's going to sit a good amount of the season, but that does not prevent him from dominating some children. There you see him blocking the shot of Isaiah Thomas.
This is actually a dramatic reenactment of the Warriors season. This is them playing against every other team in the NBA. Just, give us another ring.
Oh, I love when NBA players, they mess with kids, man.
There are so many videos of this. Do we have a whole montage?
Oh, no.
We do. Look at this.
Oh, that kid's really trying to move his feet.
And staring at his eyes. Yeah. Oh.
Sucker. Soft.
Wow, pump fake. Didn't really work there.
Weak. Eat it. Get out of here.
Is that Markelle Fultz?
Whoever that is, he's like barely taller than that rim that's 3 feet high.
Fultz. This is the only people he would dominate these days. Oh, and then, of course, that one. LeBron, unfair doing that to a 9-year-old. That's not fair, LeBron. Pick on someone your own age.
That was the meanest kid punk yet.
Do you question if this is an elite skill?
Okay, we go out to a restaurant in Houston where we are told someone has an ability with ketchup that will mesmerize and hypnotize you. What do we have?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. See, this is elite.
Wow.
Yes, that is hard to do.
He's filling it up more than Carmelo last night.
Wow.
That's a lot of practice right there. Wow. Doing that well. I did not know that that's how we did that.
That guy is so far ahead of his co-workers that I don't think that they will ever catch up with the guy.
Oh, dad joke!
Highly questionable is broadcast from the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Time to play the game that will be the first pick in a highly questionable fantasy draft. See? Oh, no.
Tell us what's on television tonight. She's getting better at this. She's getting better at the...
Tonight on Fox and the NFL Network, Thursday Night Football, Broncos and Cardinals.
You know what? I was interested because it was Thursday Night Football, and then I saw the teams involved, and I'm like, I'm less interested in this. But Emmanuel Sanders is still doing it for the Denver Broncos. He had a big catch last week and a loss to the Rams. This is pretty And then immediately after catching that, this draws a 15-yard penalty, him pointing a finger and saying, I beat you. He likes to talk, and really, that should be allowed. It'd be a lot more fun if that kind of stuff was allowed and we weren't protecting our precious children from the idea of a lack of sportsmanship. Sarah, are you intrigued?
Yeah, it'd be a lot more fun if two different teams were playing tonight, too. So unfortunately, I'm not that intrigued. But I do like Von Miller saying they're going to kick the bleeps of the Cardinals, as if that's something to be proud of, that you should really need to get fired up to take on the Cardinals.
Papi, how about you? Are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Are you kidding me? Case Keenum, that guy has his job on the line. If he doesn't play well tonight, they're going to bench his he's going to have a hell of a game, He's going to beat the out of the Cardinals because he's ready for the big challenge, you know what I mean? Case Keenum. From tonight moving on, he's going to be a name that you'll never forget in the NFL. Case Keenum.
He hasn't gotten it right once. This name you'll never forget.
No.
Not one time.
Case Keenum.
Still no good.
Tonight on NBC Sports Washington, the Miami Heat and the Washington Wizards.
He is ready. The Miami Heat.
That's right.
They lost yesterday against Orlando. Let's check in with Dwight Howard here. He's talking about a butt nerve injury that he has.
Basically, I was getting on my own nerves for the past couple of weeks. And it was kicking my So, yeah, there you go.
Wow, that was not as funny as he thought it was. Sarah, are you intrigued?
I am intrigued. I'm also not above saying, so what you're telling me is that Dwight Howard is a pain in the
That's correct. Papi, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Are you kidding me? Back-to-back games, the Heat, they played last night. They lost a tough one to Orlando. But tonight, in Washington, they're going to win because, there is somebody who won't be able to play tonight. He got to stay on the bench because he cannot play back-to-back games. And that's Dwayne Wade. That's right. He's going to stay on the bench, and the Heat are going to come out swinging, and, they're going to really, really score a lot of points and take the win home, baby.
Tonight on MSG Plus, the Avalanche and the Devils.
She's laughing at the plus. We hide hockey in the corners. You can get it on ESPN Plus. Let's check with a fight, though. This is how we cover hockey. We've got Ben against Wood. What do we have?
And here they go, Ben and Miles Wood.
Old-fashioned. This is an old-fashioned fight right here.
Somebody get someone's helmet off. Come on.
Miles Wood lands one big right. Oh, boy.
Oh, you're supposed to call it when he goes down. Uh-oh, now the helmet's... Oh.
Yes. Everyone. It's the most normal thing in that barbarian sport. Way to go, you guys. You fought exceptionally. If that happened in the other sports, everybody would press charges, and it would be terrible. Sarah, are you intrigued?
No, I don't want to watch this game on whatever plus, but also it's an old-fashioned fight. Everyone's pretty pumped, but everybody's missing. There's so many missed punches in this fight. Is that what it means by an old-fashioned fight? No one can hit each other?
At the end, there were a lot of missed punches. Papi, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Are you kidding me? This looks like a practice with the Timberwolves, buddy. That's what it is, you know what I mean? That's right. It's a hell of a practice,
Carl Anthony Towns, 22 minutes last night, fouled out.
Streaming on Fuse, T-Pain's School of Business.
Wow, she laughs and says what? But I'm in sight unseen. You're going to give me bonus here? You're going to make it no longer unseen?
I'm so excited about this. I'm T-Pain. I'm a multi-platinum recording artist, but I'm also a businessman. It doesn't take a Harvard MBA to become a successful entrepreneur.
We didn't do very well in high school. He had a higher GPA than me.
Not that much.
Yeah. Not that much.
All you need is a real-world education and Professor T-Pain to show you how things are done. First things first, when you're starting a business, get yourself a good lawyer. Now I'm bringing you with me on my search for the dopest entrepreneurs in the country. You're making weed wine.
World's first, cannabis infused, alcohol removed, Sauvignon Blanc.
School can't teach you everything, but T-Pain can. Mind-blowing. This is what the future looks like now. Get used to it. This is T-Pain's School of Business. Class is in session.
I mean, School of Business, sell weed and liquor. Your business will do well. Sarah, are you intrigued?
Yeah, I want to know why he was in the Redwoods and what that has to do with the School of Business. There's so many questions I have about pretty much every part of what we just saw.
Papi, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But listen, you don't need to have a School of Business or whatever it is. You know what I mean? All you need is your son to have a TV show and, give you a break. You give you a lot of money to sit here and do nothing. That's what you need. That's the key to success. Never mind a School of Business in the street.
He's so
no
right.
GPA. That's all bull. That's right.
All he had to do was have sex a long time ago.
That's Papi's School of Business.
Uncomfortable ending to the show.
Business time.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Our thanks to Sarah Spain for spending much of the week with us. Someone new, a mystery tomorrow.
Well, last night wasn't too long ago.
Oh.